afternoon, students. Previously we have completed our two chapter of science, and chapter number 1 chemical reaction and its equation, and chapter number 2 acid, bases and salts. So that two chapters were of chemistry. So now we will start chapter of bio section. So we will going to start chapter number 6 of bio, that is life processes. Before starting the chapter, we know that all the things on our earth are divided into two types: living things and non-living things. So there are living things which show certain characteristics which non-living organisms or which non-livings does not show. On this basis only these things are divided into living and non-living things. So let's see first what are living things and what are non-living things. So there are certain characteristics on the basis of which we can say certain things as a living or non. Like all the living organisms, they show growth. What they show? They show growth. Secondly, all the living organisms, they do respiration. All the living organisms reproduce. So they do reproduction. Then all the living organisms require food for their proper growth, and all the living organisms, what they do? They digest food, so they show digestion, excretion. All the living organisms can show movement. Means all the living organisms, their body grows, but non-living organisms, their body does not grow. All the living organisms do respiration. What is respiration here? In the presence of oxygen, the food is break down into simple product to release energy. That process is called respiration, which is only shown by living organisms. Then reproduction. The process of producing young ones of their own kind is called reproduction. So all the living organisms, they show reproduction, but non-living organism does not reproduce. Food. All the living organisms, they require food for living, but non-living things, they do not require food. Then inside their body, digestion, excretion process takes place, but living or non-living organisms, their body, these processes does not take place. All the living organisms can move from place to place, or they can move at their place, but non-living organisms, they cannot move. These are the certain characteristics on the basis of which we can say something as a living or something as a non-living. Okay, so what are here meaning of life process? So all the living organisms perform various functions like respiration, digestion, excretion in order to sustain their life on earth, or in order to live on this earth. Such processes taking place inside the organisms of living, such processes are called what? They are called life process. So what we are going to study in this chapter? We are going to study various types of life processes taking place inside the body of living organisms. Okay, before studying these life processes, let us see what is the basic requirements of all the living organisms. So first our topic is nutrition. The first topic is our nutrition. Now what is nutrition? Basically the process by which all the organisms take nutrients into their body is called nutrition. What is nutrition? It is the process of intaking the nutrients in their body is called nutrition. Second is, what are these nutrients? So there are various types of nutrients are there, like carbohydrates, fats, vitamins, minerals, proteins. Okay, so we are eating daily a variety of food we are eating. Okay, the taste is only limited to our tongue. What does our body require? Our body requires the nutrients which are present in the food. Okay, and these nutrients are carbohydrate, fats, vitamins, minerals and proteins. These are basic nutrients required by our body, and the process of taking these nutrients into our body is called nutrition. Okay, so now there are various organisms. The mode of nutrition, or we can say the method of nutrition, is different. So now see, on the basis of mode or method of nutrition, how the organisms are divided. On the basis of mode of nutrition or the method of nutrition, basically there are two types of organisms. First are autotrophs, second is heterotrophs. Or mode of nutrition, we can say autotrophic and heterotrophic. So on the basis of method of nutrition, the nutrition is of two types, autotrophic nutrition and heterotrophic nutrition. Now what is autotrophic nutrition? So here the basic word auto means self. What is the meaning of auto here? Self, and troph means synthesize or prepare. And here the word hetero means other, and troph again means synthesize. It means autotroph means the organisms which can prepare their own food. Such organisms are called what? Autotrophs. The organisms which can synthesize their own food, they are called autotrophs. Okay? Like plants. All the green plants, they can prepare their own food. That's why they are called autotrophs. Okay? Secondly, heterotrophs. Now, these hetero word means other, and synthesize means again preparing. So, such organisms which depend on other organisms for their food, such organisms are called heterotrophs. The organisms which depends on other organisms for their nutrition or for their food, they are called heterotrophs. Now again, these heterotrophs on the type, or we can say on the basis of procedure of taking nutrition, they are again divided into three types. Like number one, saprotrophs. Number two, parasites. Number three, Holozoic. Now see, what are saprotrophs? Basically, the organisms which derive their food from dead and decaying organism. Means the organisms which derive their food from dead and decaying organisms, such type of organisms are called saprotrophs, and such type of nutrition is called saprotrophic mode of nutrition. Understood? Now second is our parasites. Basically the organisms which depend on other organisms for their food, but they are not killing that organisms. That they depend on other living organisms for their food, and they derive their food from such living organisms. Such types of organisms, they are called parasites, and the body on which they depend, their body is called host. For example, we know that there are certain kinds of organisms which lives on human's body or animal's body. Like we can take the example of lice, okay, or we can take the example of the parasite which grow in our head. Okay, so what it does basically, that lice is a type of parasite. Since it is depending on our body and it is not killing us, so we are called what? We are called host. So we are host, and that lice is a parasite which lives on our body and derives our prepared food. So such types of nutrition is called parasitic nutrition. The third one is Holozoic nutrition. Under this Holozoic nutrition, the organisms takes in solid food. After taking that solid food in their body, they digest that food in order to release energy. So such type of nutrition is called Holozoic nutrition, and organisms are called Holozoic organisms. Like human beings, we, like animals, what we do? We take in food, then that food goes inside our body, then it get digested into simple things, and then we get energy. So this type of mode of nutrition is called what? It is called holozoic mode of nutrition. Let's see the nutrition in plants. As I told that these plants, green plants, they can prepare their own foods, and they are called what? Autotrophs, and the nutrition is autotrophic nutrition. So now let's see how they are able to prepare their food. There is a process called photosynthesis which takes place in such green plants, due to which they can prepare their own food. Okay, so basically here which process takes place? That is photosynthesis. Here photo means what? It means light, and again synthesis means what? To prepare. So in presence of light, since they can prepare their own food, so that's why the process is called photosynthesis. So the process in which plants prepare their food with the help of CO2, with the help of water, okay, in the presence of light, and with the help of chlorophyll, so such types of process is called photosynthesis. The process in which plants prepare their own food in presence of sunlight, carbon dioxide, water and chlorophyll is called photosynthesis. So basically what is required? Carbon dioxide. Okay, so here basically CO2 gas, okay, it reacts in the presence of water and in presence of light, and again chlorophyll is present in such type of plant, and then what is formed? Your food is formed. Food means this is glucose. So glucose is a food in plants, so your food is prepared. Now again, what is the role of chlorophyll here? The role of chlorophyll is to capture sunlight. What is the role of chlorophyll here? The role of chlorophyll is to capture sunlight. So plants capture sunlight with the help of chlorophyll. The sunlight then captured converts the energy. That energy gets converted into chemical energy, and that energy is required to split this carbon dioxide and water molecule and then combine to form your glucose molecule. In this way the food is prepared in case of green plants. Since in our body or there are so many plants where green chlorophyll pigment is not present, so such type of plants cannot prepare their food. The second type of nutrition, that is nutrition in animals, means animal, we know that they are heterotrophs, they depend on other for their food. So basically on the body on which they are depending for their food, on that basis there are of three types of animals, that is herbivores, carnivores and omnivores. Now herb means small plants, okay. So the organism which eats herbs or the organisms which eat small plants or green plants, such organisms are called herbivores. The organisms which eats only green plants are called herbivores. Carnivores, the organisms which eat the flesh of other organisms, such organisms are called carnivores. Now what are omnivores? Omnivores means the organisms which depend on both plant as well as animal for their food. Example of herbivore: cow, goat. Okay, example of carnivore: tiger, lion. Example of omnivore: humans, we are also omnivores. Then cats and dogs, deer, these all are example of omnivores. Okay, now there are various steps included in the process of nutrition that we will see. Processes involved in the process of nutrition, various steps are there. These are the steps of nutrition. Means when the organism is taking nutrients into their body, so there is a certain steps. Okay, the first step is ingestion. INGESTION, ingestion. Second is digestion. Third is absorption. Fourth is assimilation, and fifth is egestion. These are the steps by which organism takes their food inside their body. Okay, now what is ingestion? Here the ingestion means the process of taking food into the body or into the mouth. Okay, so the process of taking food into the mouth is called ingestion. Secondly, or into their body. Secondly, digestion. As soon as the food is ingested into the body, there are various chemical substances present inside the organisms that chemical substances starts breaking down that complex food into simple. Complex means the food which we are taking, it is of very long chain of your carbohydrate, okay, sugar. So that should be first break down into simple one, then only our body can utilize that food. So the complex food is break down into simple by the process of digestion. Third is absorption. As soon as your food is digested, as soon as your food is break down into simple product, then that food is absorbed into the body. Okay, in our body, like it is absorbed into bloodstream. So food is absorbed. So process of absorbing food is called absorption. Now after absorbing the food, okay, it reaches to the various parts of our body where it is required, and that body parts, what they do, they break down or they use that food in presence of oxygen, they burn that food and the energy is released. The process is called assimilation, means the food is break down again, simple food is break down again as it reaches to the various parts of the body in the presence of oxygen, and then energy is released. So that process is called assimilation. And last is your digestion. Now your food is completely digested, absorbed, assimilated. Afterward, the remaining waste or afterward the undigested food in your body is excreted or is expelled out of your body. That process is called what? It is called digestion. So now these are the steps of basic nutrition. So these steps we will see first in simple living organisms like amoeba. We will see how the digestion or how the nutrition takes place in amoeba. Then we will see how nutrition takes place in human beings. Okay, so let us take the example of amoeba. So how in amoeba the nutrition takes place. Or if you will see the amoeba structure, it is simple this. And it is unicellular. It is unicellular means only one cell is present in the body. Now since only one cell is there, so you can imagine no mouth, no other organs, nothing is there. In only one single cell is there, and inside this food vacuole is there. So what happens in case of amoeba? Okay, this is the basic structure of amoeba. Okay, so as soon as it sees the food, what is our first process? Ingestion. So as soon as the amoeba sees the food, it forms the false leg, that is called what? It is called pseudopodia. Okay, these are called pseudopodia. As soon as it sees the prey, okay, as soon as it sees the animal which amoeba will feed on, so what will do? It will do false leg, and that false leg it called pseudopodia. Since there is no mouth, so they are making what? False feed they are making. That is pseudopodia. What they will do? They will engulf this food. So they will form pseudopodia near the animals like this, and they will ingest that organism into their body. So this process is called ingestion. Now the food is entered into the body of amoeba, into the food vacuole. Now this food, as soon as it enters into the food vacuole, the amoeba produces various digesting enzymes, or various digesting enzymes are present inside the body of amoeba, which starts digesting this prey. Okay, now the process of digestion takes place. Now after the food is digested into simple one, what is released now? Basically it is digested into simple. So afterward the absorption process takes place. Means the digested food is absorbed into the cytoplasm of amoeba. So after absorbing the food, that simple food is assimilated. Means the food is again reacts in the presence of oxygen. The simple food in the presence of oxygen produces energy, and that energy is utilized by the organism. So afterward, now since it is a living organism, single living organism, unicellular, so proper organs are not there for your excretion, means throwing waste out of the body. So through surfaces, now so much of waste material, as soon as it is collected inside the amoeba, the surface of these amoeba ruptures, okay, and the waste materials comes out of the surface of the body. In this way the digestion, or in this way the nutrition process takes place in case of amoeba. Now we will see how the nutrition process takes place in case of human beings. Now see, in case of human beings, we are multicellular organisms, and in our body so many organs are present, for performing different functions. Like we are having mouth also, and we are having stomach, we are having small intestine, large intestine, and for excreting the waste material also we are having a proper organs. So the process of ingestion means the process of taking in food. In our case, mouth is present, so the process of taking food into our mouth is called ingestion. The process of taking food into our mouth is called what? It is called ingestion. Now, as soon as the food enters into our mouth, in our mouth also, so many digesting juices are present. Like in our mouth, saliva is secreted, through salivary glands. So this saliva contains salivary amylase, which helps in the digestion of carbohydrates. So it is a component of food, we know that. So as soon as the food enters into our mouth, the digestion process starts in our mouth itself. Since saliva is present, in that salivary amylase starts breaking down our carbohydrates. So now our food, and with the help of teeth, with the help of tongue, the food is properly mixed with the saliva. It is torn into small pieces. After that, the food, partially digested food, is swallowed with the help of tongue. And it passes through the esophagus. Now esophagus is our food pipe. Now as soon as the partially digested food enters into esophagus, so the walls of esophagus shows irregular movement, that is called peristaltic movement. What is this called? It is called peristaltic movement. With the help of this peristaltic movement, the partially digested food enters into our stomach. Now the food is entered into our stomach. Now the further digestion of food takes place, as it is stored in our stomach for 4 to 5 hours. The partially digested food is stored in our stomach for 4 to 5 hours, and the further digestion takes place inside the stomach only. Now what all things are present inside the stomachs? So in our stomachs present pepsin, HCl and mucus. These things, HCl and mucus and pepsin, are secreted by the walls of stomach. Now what is the role of pepsin? Pepsin helps in digestion of proteins. What is the role of HCl? First, it provides the acidic medium. Secondly, it helps in killing the bacteria which enters in our body through our food. Third, mucus. The work of mucus is to protect our stomach wall from the HCl acid. Since this acid is very concentrated, and it can damage our wall if mucus is not present inside our stomach. Now, here the food is again digested, and after keeping it for 4 to 5 hours, the food enters into small intestine. Now, in our small intestine, the two secretions of liver and pancreas comes. The secretion of liver is called bile, and the secretion of pancreas is called pancreatic juices. The function of bile is to digest fat and is to emulsify fat. The process of digesting our fat is done by basically bile juice, and pancreatic juice helps in digesting our carbohydrate or converting the carbohydrate into simple sugar. Then also present intestinal juice. The intestine wall also prepares the juice, secretes the juice, that is called intestinal juice, which helps in digesting further things like proteins, carbohydrates and everything. Now the complete digestion of our food takes place in small intestine. Our food is completely gets digested into small intestine. So now our food is completely digested, and after that it is passed into where? It is passed into large intestine. Before passing into large intestine, the process of absorption starts into small intestine itself. The process of absorption starts into small intestine. Our food is digested, it is break down into smaller substances. Now the blood flows into the blood vessel. Through that, the digested food is directly absorbed into the blood. And water molecules and important things are also absorbed into the blood. Now the further digested food is passed into large intestine. For absorption also, in small intestine, small finger-like projections are present on the walls of small intestine. What are present? Finger-like projections are present on the walls of small intestine in order to absorb the products present in the intestine. So they are called villi. What is the function of villi here? The function of villi is to increase the surface area. Now, more the surface area, more the absorption will take place. Now, after absorbing the all required material, the food is passed into large intestine, and at last the small absorption of water takes place into large intestine. And what is the function of large intestine? To store the food until it gets excreted outside the body. Now, assimilation. The absorbed food through blood, it passes into the various body parts. There it is utilized in order to produce energy, and that process called assimilation. And at last the undigested food present in our large intestine is excreted outside the body through anus, and that process is called egestion. So in this way the process of nutrition or the steps of nutrition are in human beings. Okay.